I didn't catch your name.
Neve.
Neve.
Yeah.
Okay. And what brings you tonight?
I don't know. I just came upon it and I just thought it would help me. I'm
How?
coming tomorrow as well.
Huh?
I'm coming tomorrow as
Oh,
well.
you are?
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
And how did you find out about this?
I think I was looking up meditation classes actually, and I clicked into here, and then everything that was going on here came up.
Ah,
So that's how I found it.
oh, very nice. Okay, that's good. It's good for us to know also how people come here, because we are not from here, and it's difficult to, in a way, get the word out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And we have been going on many sites.
Yeah.
So it's good to know how.
Yeah.
And what brings you here?
Recommendation from a friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah. Okay.
I was like, we have to go.
Yes, you are interested in these things.
I am. Because of that.
Ah. And
Her friend is not my friend too.
I know.
I don't know who is. Yeah. So I really came because I wanted.
And how did you find out? Through her?
She told me.
Yes. Okay.
I wouldn't find out. We were talking about it. That it's so difficult actually to know what is going on around because you can't.
No,
find
you
out.
just Google it. You just Google things and things come up.
Yes.
So I find like you don't really hear things now.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wouldn't know if I didn't have a recommendation.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
well, I wouldn't have known if I wasn't looking for the meditation class.
Okay. Okay, very
Yeah.
good. I'm glad. Okay. Usually most of our work is in Spanish language, in Spain and Croatian in the Balkan countries and semi-Balkan countries, like Slovenia. And this is, even though I speak English for majority of my life, almost 40 years, 30 something, 35, 37 years, I generally don't do any of my meditations or classes in English. It's just enough overwhelming to work in 4 countries in 2 other languages, and you get in a way accustomed or comfortable. So this trip to Ireland is going out of the comfort zone. It's pushing yourself to experience something where you are not on your own ground, where you don't have control. And this loss of control is very unpleasant. It is part of flowing with life, and if you stop growing, you have sentenced yourself to death, in a way, because comfort does kill us. And before the pandemic, I was traveling pretty much 25 days a month, because I had schools in 7 cities in 4 countries, and it would take me 25 days to visit each center and do the classes. And then I would come home 5 days, be destroyed physically, rest, and start again. And it was like that for almost 7 years, non-stop. Plus in the summer, when the schools would not work, we would have retreats to India, to Himalayas, to different islands in Croatia. And it was very, very intensive. And then one day, pretty much overnight, I am in Granada, ready to board the plane next day to go to United States, to Miami, where I work with artists in theaters, with dancers and musicians. And Donald Trump says that he's closing border with Europe. And I'm like, what? Well, he did. And that was not all. The day after, the Prime Minister of Spain says, all the foreigners who want to go home should leave the country today because tomorrow we are closing everything off. So I pretty much evacuated myself in several hours to come back to Croatia because I thought if we are going to be locked, I want to be home. And I came home to Split, where I'm from by birth. They put me in quarantine because I was in a risky country. And after 3 weeks of quarantine, I withdrew to Peace Valley. Peace Valley is our holistic center that we have in the central Croatia, behind the mountains. And I stayed 3 years, pretty much in one place, which is a complete extreme opposite of traveling 25 days a month. And I got so comfortable. I got extremely comfortable. You are in the middle of nowhere. For you, the pandemic doesn't exist. You have all the freedom, all the fun, all the amenities, and nature and food, and it was wonderful. And I got very, very comfortable. And then maybe during those 3 years, I would make one trip to Spain just to like be there for a week and then go back. And now in January we started traveling, and we have done probably 10,000 or more kilometers in a few months. But it was all to Spain, to Slovenia, to Croatia, to Serbia, that I know. I have their family, friends, the whole logistics, everything is established. I just make phone calls, people organize things, they find space, they communicate with people. It's very easy in a way, even though there are challenges. You want to make things better. You can have also issues that not enough people apply for a program, but in a way you know how to deal with it. But you don't grow at the end. Doing something that is comfortable, that you know, you don't grow. And when I mean to grow, I don't mean that you need to expand in the amount of languages that you speak or the amount of cities that you visit. Not that growth, the capitalist growth. I mean the inner growth, which means understanding what you want and what you don't want. What you want to nurture further and make it bigger in your life, and what you are ready to eliminate. And if you never put yourself out of the comfort zone, you don't do these things. You don't realize what should be eliminated from life, what doesn't serve you anymore, because you're comfortable. You can see I can go on like this forever. Every day can be pleasant. I can have problems, but you know, they are within my zone, so I'll deal with them like always, and they will be done. But for us now, this trip to Ireland is, and not only now, we had one that was in April to Galicia, which is north of Spain, that I have never worked there. I don't know anybody there. Spain is enormous. So this is already second time I'm putting myself completely out of the comfort zone, where I have little control over where I am, where I will sleep, which place we will have the conference. We don't know people, and you can see energy moving. You can see yourself being disturbed. You can see control mechanisms. And a true, I would say, approach would be to consider, what is it provoking in you? What do you feel has to die within you? What no longer serves you? uh, how can you go on in the future not making the same choices? This trip for me is also in a way making more self, in a way, self-respect, self confidence, knowing what I want, what I want to develop, where I want to go, and also life says you have been too lazy and you never had time to develop things in English, and the entire planet speaks that language. So no matter that Spanish is spoken by 350 million people natively in South America and Spain, or 20 million of Croatian speaking, but you shouldn't be lazy, you should be pushed. So this trip is pretty much like a forcing that you do what you have postponed for many years to do. And if I look at it like that, it makes sense. All of it makes sense. All of it is valuable. I am observing how do I feel in the space I don't know, where I have so little control. What in me is so addicted to having control? And I can see it is a monster. Is a monster that pretty much exists in every human being. It's the main thing we deal with in any healing process. We always deal with this need to have things fixed and under control. And life says, well, for you to evolve, you need to understand that you don't have it. You have certain control, let's say, or we wouldn't even call it control, ability to maneuver, like a sailing boat with sails on the ocean. Yeah, you don't need to let the ocean like push you around. You can use the sail, but still you'll have to adjust. You can't go like with a speedboat in one direction. Even with a speedboat, you cannot go always how you want, because you have to adjust to the waves. So this is, if we want to understand surrender, I believe that this is a very nice metaphor. That surrender means I'm not quitting. In spite of obstacles, in spite of circumstances that are present, I'm not quitting. Yes, I can feel bad for a moment, I can be disturbed, I can be angry, I can be disappointed, I can be uncomfortable, I can complain, whatever. Yes, it will come up. Unfortunately, it will come up. But you will not quit. Even though it will feel like I'm quitting, enough of this for today, for now, I don't want it. Well, when you ventilate and let it out, well, in a short time you'll say, yeah, I'm not quitting. And let me see how I can sail this. And most importantly, what am I gaining for myself? If there is no this approach of surrendering, we will be able to blame others or judge a situation without taking any knowledge or lesson out of it. If we are not willing to surrender, we will just believe that we are right, others are wrong, circumstances are wrong, and you're not going to have this self-reflection. What am I actually getting from this experience? So if you have the opportunity to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, even though they will probably make no sense in the moment they're happening, my experience is that they have always brought, in a way, an awakening later, like a blessing, like as if life says, yeah, you went through that, so I'm gonna pet you now. I'm gonna cuddle you a little bit. You deserve it. Okay, you went through that, and you went through it willingly, and you didn't quit, and you went all the way, and you actually reflected and took something valuable for yourself. And I think the moment in my life when I have had the expansion, it was exactly this. It was uncomfortable, and this uncomfort brought something so valuable, like a miracle, like a true gift, that I would forget about the uncomfort. And I would tell myself, yeah, you see, it was worth it. But still, next time going through the experience of another kind, there would still be this resistance, let's say. And resistance actually is our work. Because it's like physics. Have you studied physics in elementary school, high school?
I know I did it in fourth year years ago, but I didn't continue it.
Ah, okay.
I wasn't smart enough for physics.
Okay. Well, in our countries, you
I'm
don't
an
get to
arse though,
choose.
so.
They just,
It's mandatory.
it's just there, and you have to go through it.
Anything there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
really?
there is no choice.
Oh, right.
Yeah. You're not fit to choose at that age, they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which could be true, I don't know. I'm not an expert in that, but we did have to go through. Unfortunately, they did not have a part of it that is like applicable to personal life. Like, how would you apply physics to personal life? And as I started exposing myself to spirituality, I actually discovered that it is physics. It is applied physics, but like personally applied physics. And it's so beautiful. And as I was giving these spiritual teachings, I was getting metaphors and inspirations from the physical laws. And I would say, my God, we studied that in school, but I had no clue this is how you apply it to your life. It's amazing. So resistance, if you would understand it from the physics, is an amazing concept that we all have within us. We resist things. If we feel in a way, we resist it. Oh, I don't want to feel like this. Okay, you are resisting to feel it. If there is an uncomfortable situation or experience, you resist it. Oh, I don't want to feel this. If there is a person that you don't like and you keep resisting them, in some manner, all of that persists. In spirituality, they say what you resist persists. Also in physics. And if you knew that this is how it works, that it's just physical law, and somebody explained it to you, you would start to realize, well, then I shouldn't resist it. Because by the law, if I resist it, it will keep there. It will keep happening. It will keep persisting. So I'm actually damaging myself by resisting it. And even though our human logic would say, but what do you mean? Of course, if you don't like it, you should resist it. It seems logical. If you don't like it, you should resist. And the physics say, if you resist, it persists. So even though the individual logic does not see it, doesn't mean it is not true. For example, from my personal point of view, the sun goes around the earth. I have no way to prove otherwise if I'm just using my physical senses. So I have to accept that the physics teach us that this is not so, that sun doesn't go around the earth. The earth rotates and goes around the sun. So when you understand it, then you don't believe your eyes. You just say it's a perception. It's a thing of the perception, but it's not so. The same is with this. What you resist persists. You don't have to believe it logically, but you have to accept, oh my God, it's a matter of my perception. So I should accept the law of physics. And how do I accept it? Well, if I don't like it, what do I do not to resist? How do I surrender to this thing? How do I surrender to this experience? Oh. Sometimes it will work in 1 minute. Sometimes it will take you 8 hours for it to work. Sometimes your resistance will be so strong that you might need to talk to somebody, to write it out, to talk it out, to keep exhaling, to take a hot shower, cold shower, take a walk. But you will know that your job is to let go of the resistance. That your job is to remove it from your body because it is not helping you. It is actually making things worse. And I can say that during the day, majority of things that the resistance comes naturally. I don't invite it, it just comes. I exhale it and refocus, and it's okay. It's very quick. You know, you get a handle of it. It's like practice. Some things that are very strong, and especially if there is like full moon, new moon, I don't know, emotional disturbances, it takes more time. But I don't stop. I don't stop intending until it's done, until the resistance is dissolved. And I don't stop because I know I should not stop. I know that it would hurt me even more if I would enter into resistance and justify the resistance. And not only justify, but say that I'm right to feel it, that it's the way. Okay? I have many methods. Breathing, Fibonacci breathing, just this simple exhalation, because something shifts just with this. Even though nothing has changed outside. But what happens is you are resetting your nervous system, where majority of resistance happens. Resistance happens in our stomach, in the intestines, in the solar plexus, in the lungs when the chest closes down, in the fists, here in the jaws, yes. And then when it continues, it accumulates in the shoulders, so we get like very stiff shoulders. Eventually, it can be pain in the lumbar area of the spine and this. So it starts to be a physical thing. What happens is when you do this, inhale, exhale, you're speaking to your small brain, the reptilian brain, which is the first brain that was created in our head. And because this little brain does not understand words, affirmations, messages, images, nothing. It gets none of that. It only understands the posture of the body and the breathing. Is the breathing fast or is it it gets this message. It knows, okay, everything is okay, I can relax. So when you are doing that, you're actually helping reset the reptilian brain and ignite the parasympathetic nervous system to start producing the feeling of wellness, of relaxation. So it is a thing that you can do physically. We don't always remember to do all of that, but at least this inhale, exhale is easy to remember. Another possibility is to use the body postures. So that's what I said. You stand up, you go for a walk, you take a shower, you sit in a posture. Because if you sit like this, your reptilian brain starts to think that something's wrong, that somebody is criticizing you, or you did something wrong. You feel guilty, ashamed. So you change. Okay. Oh. Now it understands. Okay, he's a powerful guy. You know, he doesn't feel threatened. He's actually okay. You know, he has courage to open up. He doesn't feel that there is danger. So really, like a few of these little tricks work magic in the nervous system. Okay, you just need to remember. Yeah. What makes us remember usually is pain. When it becomes so uncomfortable that you're like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? Think, remember. And then this uncomfort pushes you to search for a solution. Yes. So you do something to let go of resistance. And when the resistance starts to melt, probably emotions will start to flow. Maybe under that resistance was fear, maybe sadness, maybe solitude, maybe a feeling of abandonment or failure, something that you are avoiding. Actually, when you resist a situation, you're not resisting the situation, you're resisting the feeling that is hidden under, that this situation is triggering in you. I have realized that when I would have these big emotional reactions of resisting or being dissatisfied with the situation, I would look relaxing into the feeling that I'm avoiding to discover it, just to bring awareness into it. Because when you bring awareness, suddenly it's half difficult, half heavy. It has lost the seriousness, it has lost the burden. At least half of the burden is gone. And often I would see one of my parents, you know, either my father or mother. Oh, their face clearly there. Them behaving in the identical way that I learned observing them when I was a child and adolescent. So whenever then I see my father, it's mostly him in these things. Yeah. My mother occasionally, I know her face and then I see it on my face. If I looked it in the mirror, I would recognize that the face I'm putting on is her face. And then I see him and I see his emotion and his hurt, and then I just ask him to go. And I remember I'm not him. Yes, he made me in a way. Two of them made this body and psyche and genetics and all of that. But I really don't need it. I'm living a completely different life. Surrounded with completely different people in completely different circumstances. So it's totally unnecessary. So this reaction I can see, wow, it is him. It is this genetics. Him and the grandfather is the same line. Oh, then it becomes also easier because I can keep relaxing into that emotion. Maybe tears will come out. Maybe like a grin on the face from the pain, but I will breathe into it and relax. And what helps is to speak it out, to say with voice so that it is heard, to say, yeah, I'm again feeling this, and you name it what it is. Or you write it. Even though it is madness, it has nothing to do with reality, you write it. You write all the madness out so that it doesn't stay in your head. Because when it's in the head, it rotates there. It's like a ferry wheel. It's terrible. Yeah. So writing letters that you'd never send. Literally. Write the letter, never send it, burn it. It does not belong to anybody to whom you want to send it. It is your thing. Your thing. But if you write it, you will be freed from that thing. What I would do often is, especially if it's summer, I would go to the sea, because when I'm in the sea, I feel I'm being surrounded by the ocean of life, like the existence itself. I always say that life is like an ocean. So if I'm in the ocean, I feel like, oh, I'm floating in life. And then I speak to life. I say everything that burdens me, that is the insanity if it's happening in the head. I just say it, listen life, and I say the words without filtering, without making anything sound nicer. Why make it sound nicer? It's like life knows what you're thinking. Not only knows, it is life that is thinking it. That's it. When you make things private, you are separating yourself. You are saying that you're separate from life. When you hide things when you are ashamed, embarrassed to think them and to feel them, in a way you are saying that you and life are separate, and that you are an individual being that has nothing to do with the rest of creation. And this is so devastating for living a true life, because separation is the lie, is the ultimate lie, that you are separate from everybody and everything. So when you don't filter, you are actually acknowledging that there is only one life that lives itself through everything. There is one life that is in the form of elephants and dolphins and fishes and birds and humans and trees and volcanoes and waves and rivers. One life, just in different form. And physically, it is so. Because, you see, this table and this book and this plant and this body are made of molecules. Different molecules. We could say that the wood is made of different molecules than the body. Yes, but those molecules are made of atoms. So, in the wood we will find the same atoms of carbon as are the atoms of carbon in the body. Carbon is carbon. And oxygen is oxygen, here and here. And water is there, and water is here, identical. Well, not only that. When you break the carbons and oxygen and hydrogen and all the atoms into electrons and protons, you realize that all the electrons are the same. They are just electrons. So you can't really be sure which electron you're looking at. And when you break them into the subatomic particles or quarks or whatever they're called, you realize that everything is made of the same thing. An elephant or floor or the house or the body or the book is all made of the same thing. On the subatomic level, it all looks the same. How can one same thing make different things look different? Isn't that amazing? So physics actually is a replica, is a reflection of the spiritual understanding that consciousness molds itself into all the forms. And physics show it, yes. The basic subatomic particles, and they keep discovering deeper and deeper, are the same in all the things. They just, let's say, group themselves in different way to make things look different. And that's for me like magical. If you take the same thing and you group it just in a different way, it will make an elephant, or if you group it a little different, it will make a river. Wow. But it's the same thing at the end. So, it is life. It is this life that is speaking here and that is listening there, is the same life. So, if it is one life and it is doing everything, from whom should I hide these emotions and thoughts? From whom and why? And these emotions and thoughts are this same life as well. So, okay, it is already aware. And I don't want to hide because I don't want to create separation. I have a little thing that I do besides doing it with the ocean, is because for many, many years, I had a spiritual teacher who was alive in a human body, and he has passed away. But what I do is I take a chair and I ask him to sit, and then I speak to him in the chair. And whatever burdens me, whatever anger, whatever comes, I will just speak it to the chair. And then I'm relieved, because it is again life speaking to life. It is an admittance. It is abolition or elimination of this secrecy and privacy, let's say, that brings shame and guilt. So this also is a way of surrender. It's a surrender of thinking you are separate, of fighting to be separate. And I know it is natural, especially if you are raised in a society that is maybe collective or oppressed, or you had no individual sense of yourself because you are forced to be identical to others or equal, or in a way, it is completely natural that one wants to feel individual, wants to feel its own power. And this should be supported, yes. If life wanted us to be identical, it would make robots, not humans. So the fact that we look different means life wants things to look different and wants it to feel different and to express itself differently. So this sense of individual expression is not contrary to not feeling separate. Okay? You can still feel, yes, my expression as life is like this, but I know I'm not separate. I don't need to feel separate to be expressing individually, to expressing differently than everything else. And this is what Buddha would call the middle way. He is this balancing on the rope between two extremes. The pure individualism, where you know, okay, I have nothing to do with it, I am separate, this is mine, 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 me. And the other extreme, where you're like, you don't exist as a person, you don't exist as a being. You are like meshed with everything else. Which probably, if you believe in reincarnation, you have certainly lived it. You have certainly been a bacteria, which is grouped with millions of others bacteria, and there is no individuality in a way. Okay? But now you're a human. And a human being who is listening to this talk obviously has some individuality there and felt drawn to something, unlike others who did not feel drawn. So, yes, we have to acknowledge that as well. Yes. And for me, this surrendering started very long ago, maybe like more than 30 years ago. So it is quite integrated. And sometimes I'm misunderstood. Well, words can be misunderstood, and when you want to intellectually understand something, you always understand it from your point of view or from your experience. And I have patience, so I keep traveling and keep talking, and now some people who have been following me for 10 years have like a lamp turned on, like, ah, that's what you've been saying for 10 years. Well, yeah, I have the same thing. You know, I've been with my teacher for 11 years while he was in the body, and it's been now 12 years since he left. And if I read something, I will have like this light, and it's like, oh my God, that's what he's been saying for 85 years of his life. Yes. Because intellectual knowledge only serves you to be integrated through experience. And I keep putting myself through experiences, like now being in Dublin, because everything I know, everything I have read, everything that has come out from meditation, most of the things I know somehow I know, and I can't explain how. They just keep coming out. But it is fully integrated only through living, not through knowing. Knowing did not help me much not to make mistakes. Experienced made me stop making mistakes. Pain made me stop making mistakes. Yes. Feeling like shit made me stop making mistakes. Yes, because just knowing it didn't help until it went through to a cellular level, and then you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna do this again. And then you feel this strength in you, you know, like, yeah, it's a decision, this decisiveness, yeah, no, this I'm not doing again. Or this, yes, oh, this I'm gonna do a lot of this. So be willing for this, and this this surrender that it takes time maybe to grasp is not, as I said at the beginning, not quitting, but in a way you are waving a white flag. You're waving a white flag in admittance to a greater force. You are not surrendering to some idiot. Yes, you're not surrendering to something weak. You should not. This is not surrender. Let's not call that. Okay. Let's just say that should not be done. And if you do it, your experience will teach you. Your experience will be so strong that you will not do it again. Surrender means I observe the world. I look at the trees. I look at the sun. I look at the rain. I look at the earth. And if I see that earth spins magically around its axis at the same speed continuously, the same number of days in the year around the sun, and doesn't fail. It's not like one day it stops spinning and like, let me fix this. No, it keeps spinning. It's just crazy. that it keeps spinning, and that clouds come, and that the rain falls and feeds the trees, and that they blossom every year. The leaves come and leaves go, leaves come and leaves. It's like, my God, somebody made this. You know, it seems so amazing. My heart keeps beating, I don't do anything. What do I do to control my heart? There is something I can do, but to a limit. I can make it go faster or make it go slower. But that's pretty much it. I just have a range of control, but I don't, when I fall asleep, I don't control it. It still works. I breathe all night long. I'm not conscious and I still breathe. Most people also during the day, they're not conscious that they breathe. Oxygen and carbon exchange. The body absorbs nutrients and sends them all by itself. I have to conclude something intelligent exists, and is so intelligent, it's taking care of everything, I don't need to do it. So I'm willing to surrender to that intelligence, not to something stupid. No, and it's not a matter of belief, it's a matter of accepting that it is so. I see it in action every day. And not only do I see it in nature, I see it in my own life. I see what they call these synchronicities. People being in the right place and the right time just for you, telling you something that you needed to hear, bringing you something exactly what you wanted. It's okay. You start to understand, wow, it's not only nature, it is everything. It is my life from the very conception until today, in a way magically orchestrated. And I came to surrender pretty much by observing how my life went. I did not learn it from a book. Nobody told me even, you should surrender to something. No, this, who would tell me? I mean, who would come up with that? Usually they tell you, yeah, you have to fight, life is difficult, you know, all of that, which can also be true. But it doesn't mean that fighting is contrary to surrender. Struggle is contrary to surrender. But sometimes you have to give a fight. You are surrendered to the fight. Okay? But this is very rare. You know, even martial arts teachers, even an army, they spend most of their time just practicing. They rarely fight. They don't want to fight, actually. It's like, if they fight, it's a problem. Yeah? So, one thing is to be ready for a fight. Another thing is to continuously fight. Imagine an army that was in a war all the time. That would exhaust everybody. The soldiers, the country, it would go bankrupt. It would not be normal. So any fight that is continuous is deadly, right? So you have to just see it like this. And the way I was learning from my own life is I would go back in memory and say, okay, let me see how things were going, and it seemed there was a problem. So for example, when I was finishing kindergarten, my parents were both working. So they wanted to put me in this all-day schooling, that you also have lunch there and siesta, and then work, the homework, and then when they come from work, you come home. So I was 6 years old. It's like you can't go with 6 or with 7 to school, and there was no spaces available for the all-day school when I had to go. So they said, fine, you will be with grandparents 1 more year, and when you're 7, you will go to school. It's still normal, legal. So I started 1 year later. Okay. I come to school and I see, oh wow, I started 1 year later, and I'm with my best friend in the class, because he would not have gone to school if I went 1 year before with me. Oh, I was so happy I had my best friend with me. We got this amazing teacher, and we were looking at the second grade students, pupils, who had this witch in a way, you know. So I was like, oh my God, so lucky that I went 1 year after, and I got this amazing, nice teacher. I still remember her name, Senka. Yeah, yeah. And then I go to high school, and it's okay. I don't have a big story there to tell at this moment. But high school, the last year, my parents sent me to United States as exchange student. So I liked their schooling system a lot. I'm like, oh my God, this is so humane. You feel like a respected human being, not some garbage that they're treating there. And I thought, oh, I would love to stay for university. But, you know, Croatia just finished the war. There was no money. I mean, the salaries were like 200 euros a month or less, awful. And my parents certainly could not afford $25,000 tuition every year. It was out of question. And I thought, oh, this is so bad. I had a dream. Like when I was a child, I was dreaming I will go to United States to university. And now it can't happen. There is no money, and I didn't get a scholarship. And so I come home for the summer. And I'm saying, okay, I just have to go to a public university, but it will be terrible in Croatia. It's more torture, more disrespect. And my father says, I just read in the newspaper, they're opening an American university in Dubrovnik, in Croatia. And because of this intergovernmental agreement and I don't know, some post-war help of the Americans, the tuition is just 10% of the one in United States. And they are sending US professors and everything. So he got all the family together, my aunts, grandparents, and everybody had to put some money in. And they managed to collect these $2,500 and put me to the university. And imagine, if I went to school 1 year before, this university wouldn't have opened, because they opened that year. I was the first generation. So I would have already enrolled in another one. Mm-hmm. And in the university, I was going through all these memories, thinking, my God, look, something beyond my control, new or orchestrated. Maybe I'm really so conceited to think that life likes me so much that it would do all of this for me. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating it, but I can't look at it differently. My only reference is my life. And if I look at it, yes, something made sure that everything is nicely settled, nicely put in places, that exactly when I need it, this thing comes up. And if I did something earlier, it wouldn't happen. The same was when I graduated university. I got an amazing job. It's a long story that is not now relevant, but what is relevant is the opening for the job happened exactly when I was graduating. If I graduated 1 year before, that job did not exist. The company did not exist. They were not there. And exactly in that moment, they needed somebody like me. And I had double salary than any of my colleagues who graduated at the same time. Amazing job with the private yachts and airplanes and palaces. And it was a dream come true. Everything that I dreamed was happening. And tomorrow we are going to work with this, how to manifest from these deepest dreams. So I could not ignore that there is something so intelligent guiding every step of the way. Who am I to worry? Who am I to panic? Who am I to control it beyond need, you know? And I started relaxing. I simply accepted it and relaxed. I would be very happy to say that never in the year do I get upset. Or that never during the year I don't think for a day that this is completely wrong, this experience. Why am I going through this? This is a mistake. It comes. Yes, it is there. But I have to acknowledge that it does not last long. Sometimes it's minutes, sometimes it's a day. But that's pretty much it. It finishes very quick. Most of the time, there is no doubt in this. And even in those moments, there is no doubt. It's just anger. You know, it's not that I start thinking, oh, life has made a mistake. No. What I start to think is like, he's fucking with me. Yes, okay. Or, yeah, this is some sort of a test of endurance or patience, or, oh, will I remain calm? And, well, Matjaž had a laugh with me today. He had many laughs. And I didn't quite understand fully the public transport of Dublin. No. So I looked at the internet and I saw we can buy a one-day ticket that includes all the things, the bus and the tram. And okay, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy this 3-day ticket. It's the most sensible thing. And then we ride unlimited. We are gonna be here 3 days and it makes sense. Well, we exit from the train, go to the tram. There is the machine, and I don't see the 3-day ticket. I just see 1 or 7 day. I'm like, okay, we don't need 7 day. Let's just buy 1 day. We buy 2 one-day tickets. They came out and it's like, only for tram. I'm like, what? But where is it for the bus? Shouldn't be the same. Well, no, it's just for the tram. How it's called? Huh? Luas, yeah. It's just for the tram for Luas. And the tram doesn't get us to the hotel. It just gets us halfway, then you have to take the bus. And I'm like, okay, now we are going to be paying for the bus. We should have just taken the taxi. And you know, when you go into this role, so we are in the tram, and Matjaž says, you don't sound like a spiritual teacher. It was fun. I'm like, yes, give him pleasure, please. Give him the pleasure. It's entertaining. It is entertaining. And yes, well, you have to laugh with it. Eventually, you have to laugh. I'm using this opportunity. It is making me laugh, and I'm happy with it. It doesn't mean that you are not surrendered. There is no doubt. In any moment, there was doubt that everything is organized well, and that you are going through these experiences because life decided. The intelligence that made sure that you are in the university you need to be really is going to now make a mistake if you are going to take the tram or the wrong ticket. No, it's not going to make a mistake. It's just maybe making fun of you for a moment. It's just maybe, as I said, screwing around with you. Seeing, at which level with your emotions are you, with your inner state, with your honesty? Are you practicing? You know, are you like a martial arts teacher or a soldier or a athlete? Are you practicing so that when the run comes, when When the moment to play the game comes, you are ready. And practice is every day, pretty much. And it's an inner practice of your emotional state, of your psychological state. And if you're feeling bad, I want to tell you, you're not failing. If you feel it's difficult, you are not failing. You are practicing. It's like when you go to a gym. It will feel difficult. You know, if your muscles need to grow, it will be uncomfortable. Terribly uncomfortable.
I just started to go to gym. I hate it.
Does the uncomfort and pain show that you are failing? Or that you are progressing?
No, actually I am progressing, yeah.
You are.
Every time it's less and less and I feel better and better actually, but I still hate gym.
There you go. Now apply that to other things that are inside of you throughout life. When there is pain, when there is a sense of that you just don't conclude, oh, I'm failing as a person, I'm failing as a mother or as a partner or as a worker or as a boss. You are not failing. The pain is always some sign of growth. Okay? And it's okay. This acceptance of oneself. I'm speaking here completely plainly and honestly because, again, it's life and there is nothing to hide. It shouldn't hide. I don't want to pretend anything here. And it brings laughter. So if I can make others laugh, I think I'm doing greater service than anything else. But as to confirm, yes, you are not failing if there is this. You are doing a practice. And it will make you stronger for the next experience. You will be bigger, you will be greater, expanded. Yes. Do you have any question about this surrender way?
Yeah.
Please.
I'm very bad at that.
You are very bad.
Very bad at surrendering. I have a friend who fully believes in it. She's like, just surrender it, and just, and I'm going, how do you do that? Because I would be a bit of a control freak. And I know where it comes from, past traumas and stuff I've gone through, that now it's like, because I didn't have control then, I need to have control now or I like can't cope. Even though I can, but you know, in my own head I can't.
Yeah.
So when you were starting off, was it hard at the start when you started to surrender? Like how do you surrender and then just let it go and then just trust that without taking, so say I would say surrender something, but then 10 minutes later I'm like trying to control it again. So I haven't surrendered it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's say that the way it's done depends also on the role. If, for example, if you are a boss of a department, responsibilities of the job do not need to contradict the way of surrender. But you cannot let go of the responsibilities of the job.
No.
If part of the responsibility is to control the work of others, you can't say, oh, I surrender it. Well, no, you're gonna get fired. Or it's gonna produce bad results.
Yeah. Say if it's an emotion though.
What you are surrendering is the feeling of being stressed by what you're doing.
Yeah.
Of panicking about it, of being a stiff. Yes, you're surrendering this inner stiffness, this closing off in light of doing a practical thing. You know, most things that need to be done are step-by-step things. In our earth, it is like this. You want to eat? Well, you need to cook. or go to a restaurant. There is nothing complicated about it. Yes. So you don't need to be stressed about it. It is a straightforward process. Step 1, step 2, step 3. For example, put the food in the mouth, chew it, and swallow. 3 steps. Imagine now being, oh, I need to control this movement. That is the sick way, you know. Oh, I'm worried now. After I swallow, will the body know how to digest it? Maybe I should help it. Okay, and then you. This is unhealthy control. Being preoccupied by something that is beyond your ability to influence it.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm not talking about not taking charge of the things that belong to you. Yes, take it, put it in the mouth, chew it, and swallow it. This is yours to be done. You can't surrender this in a way. To whom are you going to surrender it? Well, if you really want to surrender it, life will make you sick. Then somebody will be feeding you. You don't want that. You want to have this under your charge. So surrender does not mean surrendering what is yours to be done. Surrendering what is not yours.
Yeah.
The idea that you have to do what does not belong to you. Surrendering the worry of the future.
Yeah, that's me.
Will I know tomorrow?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know that.
No.
We don't know that. But you cannot inhale today the oxygen of tomorrow. You have to exhale. You can't. I keep it in case there is no tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. You have to exhale. And you trust. You fully trust that there will be oxygen tomorrow. Do you trust? Yeah. Because if there is none, it won't help you to keep it up for 3 minutes. Okay? So you trust. This is the same in our life. There are things that you can do, you just do them. There are things that you can't do. There is no point in worrying about them. There is no point in thinking about them. In our part of relationships or caring for somebody, if it is your responsibility to care for something, you do have the responsibility to think through what can be done. Planning is not controlling. Planning is just a natural way to organize time so that things can be done in an optimal way. You know, nature plans. It doesn't write it, but there is a plan when things will flower and when the fruits will come. It's part of, but nature has been doing it for millions of years, so it's a very good system. We have not been doing it for so long, so it takes us practice. So planning, deciding, you know, thinking through possible things that might go wrong, that to avoid them. This is just prudence. It's not control. Okay? Control is like, how has somebody else spent every minute of their day? Are they thinking of you? Will they say something wrong when they come here? You know, thinking into the future about things that are not your responsibility. Worrying about things as well is control, unhealthy control. Okay? This is a surrender that happens through an intimate relationship with the intelligence of life. I could not surrender if I did not think that this intelligence is intelligent and caring. I could not. Because I would not feel comfortable surrendering to something that is not omnipotent, omniscient. I would just feel like better that I take charge of everything. Yeah? But because of this intimate connection in the heart, relaxing into it, seeing that it works, feeling myself, having proofs that I am taken care of, this relaxation into it happens deeper and deeper as the time goes. So it is not an overnight thing,
No. Yeah.
okay? But my decision is. And I don't have a process for a decision to be made. It is an acceptance that that you just do. For example, until 500 years ago, we believed that the sun goes around the earth. We saw it with the eyes, we believed it, it was obvious, and if you would say differently, they would probably kill you. Yeah. Then some people proved it, that is not true. How did we accept it? Well, you just took it for granted. You just said, yeah, until today we believed differently, but now somebody showed it's different, so yeah, now we believe this. You just decide, and that's it. There is no process, there is no secret how to do it. I don't know how to do it, you just do it. Okay? So the same is with this. How do I choose to trust this intelligence? You have to accept that it is intelligent and that it is caring for you. I think this first step is even a leap of faith. It might be like a blind decision. And I would tell you, you don't need to make that decision forever. You can say, okay, I'm gonna behave like this for 1 month. This is what I did. I said, okay, for 1 month, I'm going to think and behave as if the universe cares for me and takes care of me, of all my needs. I'm gonna test it for 1 month. If it's true, I'll test it 1 more month, okay? It's been now 30 something years. Okay, I stopped testing. I mean, yeah. I don't like to believe blindly. And with this intelligence, I actually had a very pragmatic approach. When I heard it exists, because I heard it on the street or somewhere, they called it God at that time. Okay, they would say, okay, there is God. I'm like, oh, interesting word, interesting concept. I want to be shown that it's true. And I said, if you exist, you show yourself to me. And don't do any stupid metaphor, sign on the street, a bird, no. Appear yourself in a let's say, familiar form, yeah, that would be acceptable. And do something like that I will believe it's true. Well, really, if it is omnipotent, omniscient, it can do that. So you can also say it. Yeah, I'm gonna choose to trust you. I'm gonna choose to relax. Prove yourself to me, in a way, not like arrogantly, but confidently, saying yes, I am willing, but you have to do your part. If you are going to have this agreement, this contract between us. Well, in my case, I had, I said it and I went to sleep, and I was in my hometown on this hill that is called Marian. I was running because these criminals were chasing me, like a group of them. And those dreams where you run but you can't run, and you're like you can't even breathe, and you feel like something is gonna get you. It was awful, and it felt so real, like real. And then appears this guy with long hair and robe, smiling, with a little stone house, and he says, why don't you enter into my house? I will protect you, you will be safe. And I enter inside and I wake up, and I think, cheeky. And I said, yeah, this is my imagination. I mean, it's just too much coincidence. You know, I ask and now I go to bed and I dream this. It's so strange. And I said, well, let's consider it's possibly true. And then I said, okay, I'm 50% convinced, so you have to do a little more to prove yourself. I can't just take this, it's not enough. Well, that's what I said when I woke up. So the whole day goes by, I go to sleep, again, identical dream. Oh my God, I'm running there and these people chasing me, and I know they're these, we call them narcomani, you know, and at that time, junkies. In the 1990s, my hometown was the capital of junkies of Croatia, and it was terrible. And I try to run, and I'm running, but they are getting me, and suddenly appears him again. But this time he has this shining aureola above the head. And he's smiling, and he says, well, why don't you enter into my house? I will always protect you. And he opens the doors, and I go into this shining light, and I melt there like in bliss. And when I woke up, I don't know, I had this acceptance, full acceptance. For me, it was enough. Maybe somebody would say, it's not enough for me. But I am naive. I'm like I am a little girl who accepted the truth at that time. Like, yeah, you sold it to me. And yeah, and that was it. And I started then behaving like this. I would say, yes, didn't you tell me you're going to protect me? Well, I trust. I'm going to relax. I'll be okay. And it worked. It worked for many years. It doesn't mean that I was not tricked by people. By a lot of money as well. You know? And I would wonder, didn't you say you would protect me? Even from being tricked financially by somebody? But if I would be very honest to myself, I would see that he did everything to protect me, but I was so stubborn.
Not listening.
Okay? Huh?
Not listening.
Oh.
I just want that.
It did everything. Shut down the computer, internet breaking, things frozen. No, I am doing this. Don't go against me, you know? And then later like, but you said you would protect me. and the universe is like, yeah, I did my best. What did you want, that I fry your computer? So you see, if I am fully honest, it has always done its best to protect me, up to a limit where it couldn't go against my free will. It just stopped. It said, okay, you know, you were born with that gift, and I'm not gonna take it away. And this is one of the things of surrender, that it depends on us. It depends on our free will, because life respects itself and says, this is me in this form. Am I in this form or formlessness gonna go against myself in the form? No, I respect myself enough that in that form, I'm gonna make a decision and I'm gonna live the consequences of it. Okay? So the greater life will only up to a limit force upon itself in a smaller form. But eventually it will always respect itself and allow mistakes, allow things to be done differently, because life allows. If life did not allow, it would not allow Hitler to grow up and become who he became, but simply did allow. But it also allowed itself in millions of other forms to stop him. So life is not gonna stop itself in its own form. It's gonna use itself in other forms to stop itself in other form. You see? It's like people want to judge and say, but if life was intelligent, if God existed, if it was loving, it would simply stop the bad people.
Yeah, I always ask that question.
It would stop the bad people. And I say, yes, it does stop them. But only after, yes, only after the consciousness or in the other forms of other human beings woke up and stood up and confronted. Because fire does not stop itself. It needs rain or lack of oxygen or firemen to stop it. Imagine fire burning and then saying, oh, I don't feel like burning now. And things don't work like that. And fire has no judgment. Imagine fire thinking, I'm gonna burn only in the fireplace. But if you put a curtain into it, I'm not gonna burn the curtain because it could burn the house. Imagine fire saying this. It would be totally crazy. I mean, the world would not operate. So if there is a curtain and it comes into the fireplace, it's gonna start burning and then it will catch the house and the fire is not gonna stop itself. It needs another form of life to stop it. Water or lack of oxygen or something, earth. So if you imagine that Hitler is fire, he's not gonna stop himself. He is just doing what he is doing. He needs other elements to confront. Wind doesn't stop itself. Wind is stopped by equilibrium of pressures in two opposing places, or by a wind from other direction that is stronger. So nothing in nature stops itself. Neither you don't stop yourself. You are only stopped by forces outside or inside. It doesn't matter. It's a force that confronts another force and one wins. So if you wonder how life operates, yes, it operates by this, by the elements and forces of itself to produce an effect. Okay? So this surrender is a choice to believe at the beginning, like choosing to, that this intelligence works, that it has always cared for you and will always make maximum possible to direct you, to stop you or to push you, but eventually it will respect if you don't. And it will respect because it knows, well, eventually you'll get it. Yeah.
Easy way or hard way?
So, why force it? It will say, why force it? The experience will be the teacher. The pain will be the teacher. Yes. And if you don't learn it from the first mistake, the first pain, nor from the second or the third, well, eventually you will. From the fifth or the 10th.
But when, can I ask something?
Yes.
Like, what happens when you just get used to that pain and it doesn't hurt anymore, but it's like, it's still pain, it's just, you don't see it like that. Like, you don't feel it like that, like it's hurt first time, but you still know that it's pain. Like, that it's wrong. Like, how can you grow after that? Like you said before, like, if I went to school year before, nothing will...
Yeah.
What when you are that person who went to school year before and you realize everything that you realized? So I just realized that
It was all a mistake.
yeah, I missed everything. Like I just, for
what you mean.
Okay.
I had a time when I accept that and like, okay, I'm just like that. Like, okay, that's fine. But still, I mean, it hurts me. And that's why I did that thing, that I just go into myself and just
And shut
close
down.
everything and ignore everything. Because it seems like easier and less hurt.
Yeah, kind of what's the
It
point?
seems easier at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
Long term,
Yeah, no, not working. But
okay. Well, mm, I could share the other half of my life that is also painful.
Like, would you say that their path was different than to yours? They weren't meant to go to the university you went to because they started a year later.
I would not consider that a mistake. Okay? Because the example I have given was like a happy example, like successful example, let's say. I could name many other where I missed it by a second or by a day, or it doesn't matter. But they didn't serve for this lecture, let's say, for this teaching in this moment until you ask it. What I would say, well, I can't accept it as true when I like it and as not true when it's not pleasing me. No, I either live it always or I don't live it. So when I go through experiences that seem that something that I wanted or something that was supposed to be for me was missed or did not happen, I do accept that it was not for me. It's simply not.
Do you do that?
And or it's not for me now. It was not for me in that moment. If it persists, I will accept that, yes, in its own time. I cannot have a desire that is not going to be true. It's going to come. So far, life has shown that it all came, but never in the time I thought, and never how I thought. Yeah. It's radical. It's like simply convincing yourself in a way. But if you don't know if it's correct to convince, or if you are lying to yourself, or truly knowing it is so, you can ask yourself, okay, if am I 100% sure that this, what I believe now, that it was not meant for me, am I 100% sure that it is true? When you say, well, no, I'm not. How can I be 100% sure this is true, that it was not meant for me? Okay, I'm not 100% sure. Am I 100% sure that it was meant for me and it was a mistake, it didn't happen? I'm not, neither 100% sure. Okay, so if I'm not 100% sure in either of these possibilities, how can, which one sounds better? Or which one leads me into an inner space that is empowering? In which of these two options I feel like a victim, and in which of these I feel empowered or more relaxed? Because if you're not sure in either of them, the only logical thing is to choose the one that helps you rather than that doesn't. So this is how I lead it to myself, because otherwise I would just go crazy thinking about what could have been. You know? And I got this from I think from Dr. Wayne Dyer. From many people I got a little help, and I'm not 100% sure that it was his thing, but it sounds like him, and I think it was that he posed it like this to a lady. He said, okay, Are you 100% sure in this? No. Are you 100% sure in the opposite? No. Okay, so why are you believing in the opposite if neither is true? Choose the one that is better for you. Yeah. But if there are emotions, you cannot pretend they're not there. Yes.
That happened to me, and for a whole 2 years I was in the worst state because I was like, oh, if I'd done this I would have had this, and then I would have had this, and for 2 years, like, I had myself in a horrible state over
Yeah.
it.
Well, was anybody in this room ever in a state of going, if I would have only done that, I would have...
Everyone.
And then my life would have looked different and everything would be so different if only I...
You make up an imaginary life that
Yes.
you don't know. You don't even know that would have happened. It's just in your head.
That is completely creating a state of a victim.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with imagining what it will be like from now on. From this moment on, this is what I'm choosing. This is what I invite people to do. I say, yes, first we need to clear your inner space from clog, from things.
After 2 years I stopped.
Yes.
It just took me 2 years to get...
Okay, good. Well, congratulations.
Tired, right?
You're great.
Yeah, I can't do this anymore, just...
You're great.
That's what would happen to me when I'm torturing myself. I just get tired and then
Yeah,
the next
it's
day
like,
I'm
I
just so
just-
happy for no reason because I just can't be sad anymore. Yeah.
Well, look, when we do that, we are not projecting the possibility of it into our life. We are not vibrating with the possibility. We are vibrating with, it's not going to happen because, you see, I didn't do that, and it didn't lead to this. So you are actually producing the lack of it continuously. But if only that same thing or something you bring into the present moment and say, okay, where am I now? Where am I now? And where am I going? It becomes possible. But this, if only I've done it, I would have been there, but no, I'm not going to ever be there.
Yeah, I see now that a lot of things that happened because that didn't happen has really helped me.
Okay.
So maybe I'm hoping it will still come, but maybe the longer path just serves me better.
Good. That's the attitude. It's a good attitude. Attitude is everything.
I'd love to be able to do that with everything. That's why I came today, because like it will help me.
Very
Like,
nice.
my own head kind of goes.
So did you
Yeah,
get this
I did.
necessity for
Yes.
intimacy with the intelligence of life? That it is something to be nurtured.
Yeah.
That's why we meditate, for example. To nurture this relaxation in the truth of our existence, in the beingness. It is like nurturing a relationship. If we would imagine metaphorically that this intelligence of life was like a mother, a cosmic mother, okay? And everything that is her creation, her children. Every mother generally always loves the children, no matter what they do. You know, they can kill somebody, the mother will still love them. They can be, terrible to her, she will still love them. Just like a mother thing. And this cosmic mother loves everybody. But some people don't feel that love. They say, oh, I don't feel loved by this. I say, well, maybe that is probably your experience. But our experience does not mean that something is really absent. It means that for some reason we are not experiencing it, even though it's there. So I say, imagine you have a mother And and then one day you decide to go to Australia, I don't know, on the other side of the planet. And you never call your mother again. You never call, she doesn't even know where you live, you never given the address, you just stayed there, you found your life. And over the years, suddenly you're like alone, and you feel like, oh, you see, my mother, she doesn't love me. I don't feel her love, nor her care. And you complain to a friend, and the friend says, well, do you ever call her? No. Well, she doesn't call me. Does she have your number? No, she doesn't have my number. So you don't maintain the relationship. So even though mother still loves you, for sure, if you don't maintain the relationship, you will not feel the love. Even though it's there, you won't feel it. So you have to, in a way, maintain the relationship. And if you want to imagine that meditation is just maintaining the relationship consciously with the highest possibility, then you will start to feel the care it has for you. Even though the care is always there, when we don't have a relationship, in a way, we tend not to feel it, not to perceive it. Or, even though we enjoy the care, we would think that it's only because we did it, only because of our effort and our intelligence, and there's nothing to do with life caring for us, it's only me. So that's pretty much it. Okay? So when you feel this, it will be easy to surrender to it. I can guide a meditation now, okay, to support this. Yeah? And we can finish with it. Would you like? Yeah. Okay. Very good. Oh. So please honor me with this little exhale, with the sound of ah. Okay? We inhale together. Ah. Well, I didn't hear others, only me. So I would like to hear this sound that has no shame in it. Okay? We inhale. Ah. Is it difficult to produce it? Why?
Because of shame.
It's not natural.
It's not natural.
Yeah, it's like, it's not something that I do every day.
It's not the norm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the first time that I did it, I don't know, maybe when you play tennis, then you make a sound, but you don't.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you ever wear like a bag with you, or a plastic bag or something?
Yeah.
Yes. Were you born with it?
No.
No. And you're not ashamed to carry it, even though you were not born with it? Because as I remember, when you were born, the first thing you did was okay? So you were born with this sound and with the breath, but with the bag, no.
Yeah.
Okay? So I think one thing is more natural than the other. So let's just accept that this is the most natural thing. I do it intentionally in public transport, walking in the street. I don't care. I just love to do it. Okay? So let's do it again. Ah. Now you're alone.
No, I did it with everyone.
You did?
I did it on my own. Yeah.
Okay. We'll liberate you from that, from the shame of that. It's okay. Okay, thank you. Ah. So let us withdraw. Withdraw the attention towards inside. And with every exhale, let us feel the face relaxing and the shoulders dropping down and your jaw relax. In your chest and stomach. And you feel the chair below your body, and you feel the floor under your feet. And you realize the body is breathing by itself naturally. And you tell yourself, in this moment, in this body, I am 100% present. I am completely here and now. And with every exhale, let yourself relax as if you're floating on the surface of a warm, calm sea or a lake, endless lake. And the sun is shining and keeping you warm. And you are floating completely worryless, relaxed. And you feel this ocean of life taking you with its own currents. It brings you everything you need. It takes you everywhere you need to go. It's like embrace of a cosmic mother. And you're like a child that completely relaxes in its arms. And remembering that this intelligence guides all the nature. Everything happens in perfect moment. Everything works. It has all powerful, all knowing. And it respects your freedom of choice, of will. So if you don't allow it, if you don't permit it to enter into your life, to guide you, it will respect it. It will stay a little bit on the side. So you want to choose your choice in this moment and allow this intelligence to enter your life. And you say, I allow you to guide me. And I allow you to carry me. and to bring me everything I need. I allow you to carry me to all the places. So feel it's in its arms carrying you to all the places that you need. And with every exhale, you relax more and more. To carry me to all the people and relationships. Feel life taking you to different people that need you and that you need them. And I allow you to take me to all the opportunities, experiences. Relax even more. And feel the current of life, the river of life taking you to experiences, to solutions, to ideas. To everything I need to live my mission on earth. And opening your palms to receive, you open your heart, your chest, your mind, and you just say, I allow you to bring to me. So you feel with every inhale, life bringing you everything you will say. And you repeat in you, I allow you to bring to me all the places, all the roads, all the paths. Inhaling and exhaling, you relax in the presence of all the places that life brings to you. I allow you to bring me all the people and relationships. Inhale them as well. And exhaling, relax in the presence of all the people that life brings. It's like a rain shower of people pouring from the sky to you. And I allow you to bring me all the experiences, situations. Inhaling deeply, you accept them. Exhaling, you relax in the presence. Especially if you are living through some difficult situation, circumstance. Inhaling, accept it into you. Exhaling, relax in its presence, knowing it was sent by life because it has a point. It serves something. And I allow you to bring to me everything that is meant for me in this life. And if you feel any emotion being brought, any resistance to this allowing, breathe into it. Breathe into this emotion, into this resistance. Expanding your chest, your body, to make space for it to grow. Don't worry, growing it will not make it stronger. It will make it more airy, less dense. And then exhaling it through the mouth, feel it flow down your arms, out of your hands, down your feet, out into the earth. I simply allow. And I let go of this resistance. I don't need it anymore. And observe how you feel now. Keep letting it go. It's not good, it's very good. So breathe into that is uncomfortable. And exhale it, relaxing in it. Breathing into the resistance and relaxing, even if it's unnatural, even if you are not accustomed to it. And whatever emotion is there, you don't judge it, you don't stop it either. Oh. And observe if there is control in you over things. With every deep inhale, you will draw your attention from the feet to the top of the head, and from the top of the head down the body towards the feet. Several times, inhaling, scanning the body, exhaling, scanning from the head to toes. You can rub your palms and put the center of the palms over your eyes with the fingers on the forehead, but not pressing the eyes, just creating like a dark space and resting your sight, your vision from the eyes to the back of the head, withdrawing the attention from the eyes. Inhaling deeper, becoming aware of the body and yourself and this space around. And when you're ready, you can slowly open the eyes. What has come up?
For me during that, it was weird. My mind was silent, and it's never silent.
Beautiful.
That was really nice for me because it's never like that.
I'm glad.
Yeah. So nothing really came up, but
That's
silence and peace came up.
That's
I'll take that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I was not gonna lead the healing process today. I was just putting you in this Okay,
No, it was lovely. Thank you.
nice. And look so quick. I'm glad for you.
Thank you.
Ah. We can't say the same here. No peace came up. Something was provoked.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. It's now on the surface there. Oh, okay. Is this something that is continuously present?
Yeah.
Yes. You would like it to go away? Yes. Okay. Do you know what it is?
I do.
You do. Okay. Okay. And you're willing to let it go? You know, the universe is not a thief. It's not going to steal it from you. So your readiness is required. Yes. But you will be ready when you admit to yourself that it serves you not anymore. It's like a treasure that we are guarding inside for a long time.
I don't know how to say it. It's more complicated than that, or it's just it's maybe something that I don't even realize. So I call it by the wrong name.
Okay. Will you be with us tomorrow? You are welcome to be, you know.
Yeah, like I would like to say no.
You can say no.
Because of this, because I don't want to be like this in front of other people.
I have cried in the middle of the street and walked down everything, so don't worry, like, no one in here will
That's
judge
the
you.
point of
I've been like that, and I know it's yourself and how you feel yourself, but honestly, don't worry about, nobody will.
Tomorrow is the workshop exactly for that.
Yeah, I'll probably be sobbing.
To release
I usually
whatever
am.
occupies this
I
space,
usually am.
the inner
But you know,
space.
this is that you came here with so many
It's up to
examples.
yourself though, you know, how you feel yourself.
Even though you try not to come here, you came here to be like this.
Do you see that here there is no judgment of you?
Yeah, it's not even about the judgment of other people. I don't care about the other people.
I know. But
It's
I want you to see that there is no judgment here.
Her judgment is
I
the
know,
worst.
but she needs to see that there is no judgment here, and that there is no reason for the inner judgment either.
Do you want me to get you a tissue? Yeah.
Do you want to give you a hug?
She is a tough lady from Split, you know? Yeah, tough Dalmatian woman.
She's just tough to herself. She's not tough.
I know.
She's actually very pleasant to have around, but you don't think that she's pleasant to have around.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I don't want to hear this kind of stuff. I don't want to hear support. I don't want to. I know all of that. I know that.
Yeah.
And I still feel like
Tomorrow I'm only opening the space for you to have your own direct contact with the highest self, with the highest of you, and to empty the space that is clogged by whatever is unnecessary. I'm not going to do anything. I will use some words to guide you, but you will do everything. Only what you want. And only if you want it now. I don't know if I will be coming to Ireland anytime soon. We don't know that.
Yeah, we'll see. I can't promise now anything.
Just think about it, sure.
Rekli bi u Splitu, meni ni u džep, ni iz džepa. Tako da ono. How has this been for you, the relaxation in the allowing?
Relaxation. In some part it wasn't relaxing. but yeah, no, my mind, it's like, I don't know how to explain. Yeah, there are some things that I'm aware that they are there, they are not pleasant, but I probably like got used to those feelings, and I'm not ready to let them go. Like, it's feeling like if I'm let them go, I'm gonna let everything that I think that I want, but maybe I don't even want. Maybe it's not for me. Anyway, it's confusing, like me in general.
Sometimes if you feel like you're letting something go, I know I do this.
It's like a piece of your body.
You're letting go. It's like you're just gonna be hurt again. So it's like, let's hold on to it. So then life can't. It might be different for you.
No, I don't know that. I don't want to let it go because I think I'm gonna be hurt.
It's more that you are gonna let go of part of you.
Part of
exactly.
Yeah.
Like this is me now because these feelings is
it's
with
like
me.
part of your identity.
Yeah. And so if I let that go, what I'm gonna do then? Like, I'm so stupid actually, even when I say it out loud.
No,
I'm glad you're saying it out loud. Please. That's part of the method. Say it out loud.
Yeah.
Hear
but
the
now
stupidity.
When I hear myself saying it, I hear how nonsense.
Very good. Very good.
So yeah, I'm probably still kind of confused with myself. But I felt nice at the end, like meditation and all. I actually used to meditate before, many years before, and I don't know why I stopped, but I do know that I missed this thing and this feeling. So, I don't know.
Okay.
Trying to find my way there, how I felt then.
Yes.
I don't know. But I don't know how to let those things, that I don't know what good they bring to me since I have them, but yeah, I don't know, it's like a part of me, like a tumor, cancer, invisible, or I don't know.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense, anything I say.
No, it does to me.
It makes sense to me as well. Yeah.
My job is to work with people and the psyches and the emotions.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it makes perfect sense.
Emotional person, right? And I don't react very well on some things sometimes. People would say, I think that I just react, that I'm just myself. Yeah, but sometimes I don't want to be controlling things that are in me. I just want them to get out, which people around me don't like it. But anyway, well.
Okay.
Are we still on the same subject, or I went too far?
Well, let's close for today. Yes? Yes. She's like, I need a drink. Okay.
Pint of Guinness.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for attending today.
Thank you for having us.
Pleasure.
I'm glad I find you.
Yes.
On very weird ways. But
Wonderful.
I believe that it happened for a reason, that she showed me, and then I said yes. She even told me that, oh, I have something, it's more for you than for me. It's like, okay, yeah, definitely for me.
Oh.
Glad I find it.
Thank Yes,
Yeah.
that's very good. I'm glad.
Yeah, when he
That
said
makes me
close,
hear
to
that.
me it's open. Now I have so many things. So many things to analyzing.
Well, if we see each other tomorrow, I can answer more questions. And tomorrow I'm guiding two processes. First one is the emotional liberation of whatever occupies the space, and second one is manifestation of the future that you intend to live. So let's see how it goes.
Thank you.
Yes, okay. See you.